Kyle just dropped another video for MW4, breaking down a ton of the mechanics. The main reason I want to cover this is because skimming through it really quick, they show so many of the new mechanics, but also weapons and maps and things like that, which are pretty interesting. And then towards the end, we'll talk about kill block, because there's a ton of information on that as well.
That's really hard.
They're one
So
of the
weapons
teams
playtest.
that playtest the most. So they're playtesting constantly.
So you get all
And
these
it can be
menu
grinding,
screens.
You know, to use the same weapons over and over again for multiple weeks as you're trying to tune it. They playtest together. They have that group that gets
So that actually shows a decent amount of gameplay, huh?
as you're trying to tune it. They playtest together.
So you can see the thing here in the kill cam. It actually shows where the shot placement is now. I know there's been some stuff about that, but this is actually showing this with the regular kill cam that we've seen. This looks like a smaller map there.
Gives them feedback, so we just make sure that that is cleared for them, that they have whatever they need to be able to do that. You know, whatever resources they need to go and find, research, come up with ideas, try stuff, fail, you know, walk away from it.
We just kind of walk through and see what everyone's using, just kind of look over their shoulder a little bit, see if what they're doing looks fair and looks good.
It's when you're thinking about what can be new.
We start with, like, we need the right mix of assault rifles, SMGs, snipers, shotguns. Like, what does each category need in order for that category to feel strong? And so that's where the weapons team, like, they're always researching, they're always finding new things. I'm always in awe that they have more ideas every time in the box of, like, hey, I didn't get time to do that last time. Let's do something that I've been wanting to do for a long time.
We constantly push ourselves. We're constantly saying, what's next?
You might spend 30 hours with a gun. You might spend 1,000 hours with a gun. So having a little thing that makes it fresh, makes it different, is really cool for people.
I think it comes down to just like obsession.
And I think that's one of the things that IW did really well with 2019. Like, obviously, if you followed for any amount of time, you know that I have issues with 2019, but it wasn't how they handled the weapons in the game. Like the actual sound, the feel, the look, those types of things were all like awesome.
It's just that, like, every detail, every step of the way, we're like, how?
And although graphically, the graphics have been good in the recent games, even maybe if you don't like the art style, it's still like how they handle those things. I don't know if it's a console specific thing with that anti-aliasing messing up some of the stuff, and maybe they're going to be able to figure that out. But
one thing better.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll go and record some of those motions myself. I'll study them. I will use that mocap station, and like I'll do some of these motions and pantomime them or do them for real. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that I do that thing. Like, how can I capitalize on bringing that small detail into my crap now?
One of those things is the muzzle effects. For our guns to feel good, that has to be in our game. Like, that's like a given, right? But it can't have a negative.
So this is probably one of those things that it'll probably be a feature that's amazing, but I don't know if people will just turn off certain effects. I don't know. Because this impacts the depth of field, I think.
So we developed a really cool system that makes it
so what happens with this one, because I've already had the demonstration on this, is pretty much there's this ring that comes around. This is like visual effects masking. So what will end up happening is your target will always be clear in the center. And then what they do is they do like this weird soft feathering of this hard circle so that it looks blended. Like there's a gradient between fog to not, so that the center of your aim is always going to be clear.
So you get all of the muzzle flash that you want, and we cut a hole in it, like right where you're looking, right where the target's at, so you don't lose line of sight with what you're trying to shoot.
I know I'm excited for the new hipfire.
That's a big one, right?
Yeah,
like
huge one.
So this is the mechanic, which I think is pretty good.
How would you describe bloom in a game? Like, what is bloom?
Ah, man, I think it's just uncontrolled randomness.
Like, this is a huge change.
Yeah.
This is actually probably one of the biggest changes I've experienced in our engine in any project we've worked on. Like, you attack and the game literally rolls the dice and it says you hit here.
Yeah.
So this is how like hipfire bloom works. This isn't the ADS bloom that we had in Vanguard where you shot and the bullets went randomly. Same like Battlefield where they do that mechanic. Unless you're standing still, not moving, crouched or prone, you know, and then you fire, the bullet goes where you want it to go. So that's how it works in pretty much every first-person shooter, every AAA game that does it. That's how they do bloom on the hipfire. The ADS COD's always been like, you shoot where the bullet goes is based off your bullet velocity. And older games, it was hit scan. So wherever you looked, literally where it went. But as the maps got bigger, with BO4, I think is where they added the bullet drop and bullet velocity type mechanics. This specifically, I think this mechanic is only in Tarkov, the hipfire one, where wherever your gun is pointed, that's where the bullet goes while in hipfire. They're able to claim the first AAA because technically Tarkov isn't a AAA game, even though it's a great game.
That's like one part that's pretty weak about it. The other one for me is that it doesn't look.
And you can look how crazy the randomness is, where the laser's always here, but the bullets went up there, went there, and moved.
Right at all. Like when Rainin makes an animation for us, the last thing he would do is have the gun recoil like this and have bullets just randomly go off in different directions.
It really feels like, how do we not do this sooner, right?
You have more control of your weapon than ever before. You're not gonna get randomness. You're not gonna lose gunfights because of an unknown element that you have no control over. Like, you're gonna live and die by your decisions and your skill level.
There's depth of field. Depth of field in real
One thing
life is
I'll
actually-
clarify on this too is that doesn't mean that you're just going to be insanely accurate. What happens is the gun still has a certain amount of wobble and like movement to it. So there is a randomness to that with how you move. So it's not just like the laser's always going to be like the laser's always accurate, but the laser's always going to be moving almost like an idle sway in a way based off your body. So you'll kind of have to, if that's on target, then you pull the trigger, it's going to be accurate. But beyond that, you know, you might have it set up that way.
You're not gonna get randomness. You're not gonna lose gunfights because of an unknown element that you have no control over. Like, you're gonna live and die by your decisions and your skill level.
There's depth of field. Depth of field in real life is actually important to shooting. It helps you when you're shooting a gun. And we look at that, and then
Another
we look
cool
at what's
part.
happening in game, and we're like, well, people are turning this off because what we do in game, our simulation, is destructive to the target. When it blurs outward, it's actually degrading the quality of what you're trying to shoot at. So we're like, can we replicate what it does in real life? But it feels awesome. We talk a lot about making the game more immersive.
So
Like,
you can
the
see they
goal,
kind of fixed
for
the
Modern
iron
Warfare
sights in a
4
way. So it fixed the depth of field before, which we normally turn off anyways. I still imagine that it will get turned off, but you can kind of see how the effect is keeping the target still in picture and not having this blending blur effect.
We talk a lot about making the game more immersive. Like the goal for Modern Warfare 4 is to really like put the player like in the boots of their operator, make it feel like they're really behind their gun. The framing of the weapon, the movement of the player. We don't just look at the gun moving around on the screen, but we
So
think
good they're
past the
actually able
camera,
to
and we're
show
like,
some more
how does the
gameplay
player's
finally.
body move when they're doing that thing?
Situational awareness. You walk up to a wall now and you're trying to peek around cover. The weapon will actually pull back into the chest, and that feeling, that immersion that I get.
So that's one that you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, the gun's like moving around and making room for my body. It's insane, the complexity to it, but the results speak for themselves because it looks so natural that you're like, that's got to be animated, right? But it's not. It's all numbers moving in real time, and it just feels so good. So I think
This
really
map was cool.
looking
I
at
actually got to
every-
play this specific map. There's a lot of different pathways. It's kind of like a squarish map with the train kind of on the side, or like a truck path or whatever. I think it's a train.
Yeah, with a fine-tooth comb is what makes our weapons stand out.
Okay, I did not play this one.
Some of the classic guns, they're like, okay, here's how we're going to innovate or change its character.
Apex
from last
attachments,
game,
we've
or
already
tweak
seen a
it,
little
or
bit
do
about
it
these. These are like
and then
aftermarket
this
parts.
idea of Apex attachments came along to help
But they don't take up a attachment slot, which is a big difference.
guide them towards, okay, you have this gun, you're making it as awesome as it can be, and then what's the twist? What's that little spice you're going to add to it at the end?
I would say every attachment
The hell?
had a healthy amount of debate behind it because we're like, is this good enough?
Oh, you're getting
Can we
access
make
to a
it
bunch
better?
of weapons
There's some
there.
that-
So this one, what does it say? Receiver integrates, equips the Cronin Squall with an underbarrel guided missile launcher. Okay, that's that.
Like,
The Mosin, you get a bayonet, which looks like that.
Is this good enough?
These are the ones where the throwing knives are on the sniper rifle, so you can at close range you can do those.
Can we make it better? There's some that maybe stand
WZ Striga. So a paired frame conversion outfits the PM63 for a true akimbo use. Okay.
Stand out a little bit more than others. The core nature of this gun is it's a single action gun.
That's the one that
so
makes it a shotgun,
slow rate of
right?
fire revolver. This was a way to flip that and make it a super fast firing thing with a cool
it has
animation.
like the handle thing.
You can run in, pop, 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 get the quick fires off, and then when someone's coming around the corner, you can ADS and you can get the very accurate long-range shots on it. This is one that's definitely like bringing new behavior to the game. You have a underbarrel
played this
rocket
map.
launcher.
This map
that's
was cool.
laser guided. You fire the rocket and you basically tell the rocket exactly where to go. So you can fire it up in the air and you're like, land here. Spitfires.
Oh, that was crazy. Do you see that? He looked at it afterwards. He fired it and then he
Rocket
traced
exactly
the
where to go,
laser
so
to
you can
where it
fire
goes.
it
So
up
he
in the
fires
air,
it
and
and
you're
then
like,
look at the
land
laser.
here.
What the hell? That's going to be crazy. I don't know if that's good for the game.
Spitfire's an Apex for the PPSH. It went through a lot of iteration. The original idea was like an incendiary underbarrel type thing. And so we got it in and we're using it and it just was an instant not hit.
This is one of those ones where we were saying, this is not Apex worthy, right? So then it was you, right, Frank?
That looks
Had
crazy.
the new idea for it.
Yeah, I was like, okay, we put a grenade launcher on a SMG. I guess that's cool, but I'm like, what if it shoots fire instead?
For me, it was kind of interesting to explore stuff like area of
He
denial.
said, what
and
if it
like, hey,
shoots
I have this
fire?
extra tool, and then gave my feedback, and then wait for these guys to do another iteration of it. Yeah.
It just kept getting that back and forth until you finally get to that like sweet spot of like, okay, let's just go for it.
We talk a lot about the core weapons group, but there's a whole
That looks
army of
crazy.
people supporting them. This weapons team works hand in hand with our game code team to make that work. The rendering team's always helping with like scopes and constructive depth of field. So really, it's about the whole studio knowing that these are our main characters and that we have to support this team making the most awesome shit and add to ourselves every time.
The star of the show is the gun. So all of the entire studio is supporting.
They're showing
that
so
star.
much. It's crazy. They also put out a big blog on Kill Block, which I'll go over really briefly. Like basically it's just one of those maps. It's about the size of Shoot House, but it's compartmentalized. So it has 3 different sections. And then what we can see here is when you actually see the map here, it's the 3 different parts and they're always going to be alternating. And the nice part that I think they showed off in this is just the different types of weather, the different types of map layouts. You can see that they're like this one, this back area is like Shoot House. This 3rd section, but we can also see this other one's like Gun Runner or whatever the heck it was called in 2019. You have some different elements of that, and then whatever's on this furthest end is another one, right? And then when we swap over here, it looks like we have a couple here that are from Shoot House, which it says Kill House here, Shoot House in the middle, and then I can't even tell what the hell this one is on the back end, but they have something there. You can see that there's snow on that side. And I think that's probably the most impactful part, is seeing things like this where you can see the visibility is different. They have different things like Crash as part of the map. So they took fan favorite elements of maps, because even though Crash is pretty iconic, parts of Crash are kind of crap. Like they're not good. So they look like they've taken some of the more iconic pieces, put them together, made them work. And you can see here, this little upper middle part, even from bigger maps, even though High Rise isn't a huge map, they took that part. They took the station again over here, and then they have cabin stuff over here. So it's like one of those things that you're going to be able to go through and make it work. This one is 3v3 gunfight as well as 10v10. And what happens is the way the modes are going to work, it's just going to be like gunfight where you get a random loadout, you get all the kills, you swap side, you get all the kills. If you guys run out of time, then there's a capture point in the middle, and you go for that. And then once all that's done, you do 2 rounds, it flips the map again. And then you do one side, flips the map again. So it's going to have a lot of variety there. I wonder if they'll incorporate some of the other stuff. So I'm sure it's like a demanding challenge to be able to get something like Dom or Hardpoint into those. But I would imagine those would be kind of fun with actual loadouts, so that if you wanted to grind those for some of your camo grind, or you want to just mix it up, have variety, you can do that as well. So we'll kind of see where it goes. Interesting. I'm going to be at COD Champs this weekend, so I won't be covering if they cover anything else. not until I get back on Monday. So we'll kind of see where that goes. They do have the Fanatics Fest this weekend as well at the same time in New York. So a bunch of celebrities, probably a bunch of content creators in that area. We'll be checking that out, posting some gameplay. So kind of see where it goes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. Thank you for watching as always. Have a great day.